All right, everyone, what's up? Today I'm gonna be essentially messing around with drums. Why? Because most of the time, I'm gonna be honest, I kind of dread making the drums. You know what I mean? Like the groove, for some reason, it's not that fun. And so I'm gonna start trying to use the step sequencer a bit more. So that's today's plan. I have Splice open in the background, so that is where I'm getting my sounds. First of all, I'm just gonna pick an 808. It's not that serious. So let's just take this here. So for me personally, I prefer starting with the 808 always. It kind of lays the foundation for everything. At least for my musical taste, the most important thing that I have to get correct is the 808. So, bro, why is this not? All right, so I don't know. One thing I don't know for sure is the difference between optimized and unoptimized. So let's get started. One, two, one and a two and a three and a four and a one and a two. One. I don't know. Let's see. Let me see what I like better, the optimized or unoptimized. All right, I'm liking that. So I'm going with this. It's just a downward pattern. Um, we're just gonna quantize it. A lot of rumble. I don't know what scale this is, to be honest. I just did whatever sounded nice to me. Let's see. It could either. I don't think it's not C minor. That's like the one scale I do know for sure. And because I'm going C, B flat, A, and then G sharp. So let's see. I don't know. Let's try. Let's see if it's actually G sharp. Let's see. Not there. Let's try G sharp minor. Not there. Let's try C. What about C sharp? What about C sharp? Not C sharp. All right. What about See, I have not messed around with these other scales. So it's not C Lydian. It's not C Mixolydian. Let's see. Dorian? It's not C Dorian. Phrygian? Not that either. Locrian? I don't. All right, you know what? All right, you know what? I'm not gonna sit here and waste creative energy. So this is. So I mean, I could just honestly just drop this here and then put this on G. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna take this, just drop it. It's not that serious. So I know. So I know that there's a lot of scales, but personally, I've kind of just more or less just stuck to C major. Not really, but like, cause for whatever reason, every time I do make songs in C major, it ends up super corny. I don't know why, but it does end up corny as fuck. So that's why I use C minor. But the primary reason why I just stick to C is because, first of all, I do record over my beats, and unfortunately, I am still struggling. I'm still improving in terms of being a recording artist on my own beats. But the primary reason why I stick to C minor and just this one scale is because that's the only scale where I have most of my range. All right. So my vocals sit pretty much between C2 and C3. So, if I start at like, I don't know, if I make a beat in like G, right? There's not a lot of space for me to make like melodies and stuff like that. So with C, I have the most range and space to be as expressive as I can be while still sounding the best that I can, you know. Um, so, like for example, if I start here at like B, right? No, maybe not B. Maybe like the tricky ones I would say are like F and G, right? Because it's straight in the middle of my octave, and it's just hard. I don't know what else to say. It's just challenging. It's just challenging. I just stick to C. It's easiest. It's way easier, because otherwise, a lot of these other scales, the notes are either like I could only hit a few notes in the scale, and the rest are way too high and way too low for me, you know. But let's keep going. So we got the 808. So today's video, I said I wanted to focus more on the drums, and that's what I'm gonna do. All right, so we got the drums. The next thing I'm gonna do is just pick out a hi-hat. It doesn't matter. I'm gonna take this hi-hat. Let's take it, put this right here. All right, so we're officially starting our first like experiment. We're gonna come here. Oops, not no drummer reason. I don't give a fuck about drummer. We're gonna put pattern. I'm gonna keep it 16. Let's put 32 step. Let's do a 2-step hi-hat, right? Oh shit, it's so loud. So we're gonna start off with a 2-step hi-hat. The other thing I'm gonna do is just also check out this whatever it says optimized, just to hear the difference. I'm gonna be honest, this shit sounds like the exact same to me. Oops, I opened up enough. Alright, so we have this 2-step hi-hat, right? I want to experiment. I don't want no boring shit. So let's throw one and a 2 and let's put 1 and a 2. Nah, let's put it here. 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4. 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4. So for this one, I'm gonna fuck around with the repeat, right? So let's put this on. Nah, not right there. Maybe like right here. 2 and a 3 and a 4. 1. Let's start it off with a hi-hat roll. And let's throw one, let's chop it up on a 2. Maybe like make this. Maybe like maybe here, like a long ass one. Like, I don't know, I said long. Alright, that's a little annoying. Maybe here. Yeah, right there. Let's put. Maybe let's chop it up 7 times. Alright, we did that. So we now have the hi-hat. So the next thing I'm actually gonna experiment that I haven't really messed around with is actually messing around with the randomized values, because the truth of the matter is if you keep making beats, eventually you're going to get bored, right? Why? Because you're kind of doing the same thing. And yeah, it's true, a lot of songs are very basic, it's like two-step hi-hat, and then I think it's like a clap or a snare on the 3 and 4, whatever the fuck that means. So what I'm gonna do to, like, I mean, have fun is, let's just randomize velocity. All right, we randomize velocity. What else can we? Gate. What does gate even do, man? All right, we randomize gate. Anything else? Let's. I ain't no doing no swing on that. I know I should mess around with swing, but I think I'm gonna. Oh, sorry. I am pressing a button, but unfortunately, I'm on Mac, and with OBS, um, I can't really record my whole thing because it always freezes. So I'm left with just doing the logic screen, and for some reason, it doesn't show like the menus or anything. What does Valley do? Let's look at that. Oh, the velocity. Honestly, that sounds fine to me. So next we're gonna get hi-hats. I mean, I already said hi-hat. Let's try a, me this. Do you have any other claps, man? Alright, give me 1 second. Claps. And one and a 2 and a 3 and a 4. 1 and a 2 and a 3 and all right, I'm gonna mess around. Let's see. I'm gonna start off with this. I don't know how to pronounce it. So one thing I started doing like today, just recently, was it's kind of a pain in the ass to go through Splice, look for sounds, like searching for sounds individually, and then also making them work cohesively. I felt like it took too much time. I know I've had Splice for a while, and it just finally hit me like, hey, I might as well, open up Splice, and there's a lot of like sound kits, and I should just start using sound kits. Like instead of like going out here picking up the 808 I like, the hi-hat I like, I'm just started using sound kits because I don't have to think too much in terms of like the cohesion, because these sounds all work together. Yeah, and so that's something I was wasting way too much creative energy on. Sometimes I'm trying to make shit work, but fuck it. I'd rather use a sound kit where everything works together and I make out of it. Because listen, there's nothing wrong with having guardrails. Guardrails are actually a great thing. A lot of people think restricting yourself is bad. Nah, there's a lot of ways you can be really creative with your restrictions, and I think you're even more creative when you place restrictions on yourself. Like for me, I know, I don't have to follow scales, like a fucking robot, right? I don't like, you could put some notes outside of scales, but I just choose not to. I say, listen, I'd rather do that because I don't have to think so hard. I could just plug and play, and I know I can make things work. Like, I don't need extra rules. There's nothing wrong with like niching down and, focusing and narrowing yourself, because with those limitations, it allows you to be super creative. It's like, okay, these are my limitations. What can I do with this? So, yeah. So we're gonna start with this. I don't know. I'm gonna lower this. Let's put. I don't like that there. One and a no. One and a maybe 32 step. Let's see. One and a two. One and a two. Oh, one and a two. Not there. Right here. One and a two. One and a two and a three. And a two and a three and a four. Is this one off? One and a two and a three and a four. Alright, right here. One and a two and a three and a four. One and a two. Yo, I'm off, bro. I'm so off rhythm. One and a two and a three. Oh, one and a two and a three. One and a two and a three. Bro, I'm so fucking off, man. Is this here? Like this? One and a two and a three. You know what? I'm struggling. I was just trying to like do that because I saw some video saying, "Oh, you say one and a one and a two and a three." Bro, I'm struggling. Let me just put this here. I'm gonna put this where the metronome hits for now. So I think it's one and a two and a three. One and a two and a three and a four and a two and a three and a four. One and a two and a three and a four. One and a two. Let's put this right here. Alright, that sounds gross. Let's put this. Alright. Alright. I'm gonna try nodding my head and see if that works. Alright. Alright, I'm gonna nod my head, see if that helps. Alright, I'm gonna go with this. I would definitely say though, there is no rules to making music, only in the beginning. Because once there are like rules, you can break them. You know what I mean? Like for example, claps and snares. Like you don't have to use a hi-hat to create the rhythm in your beat. You could just be without the hi-hat and use the clap and snare instead like a hi-hat. Or you can just pick out random sounds and use that as a hi-hat. Because ultimately the only purpose of a hi-hat is to keep like a steady rhythm, you know what I mean? Like a metronome. So, but yeah, let's continue. This one should go. Can I lower the pitch? I think I want this to go down. It says octave. I don't think it's octave. Nope. Maybe let me try bringing down the velocity. Alright, I think the next thing I'm gonna add is actually like an open hat. Or let me see. Alright, I think it should be... I'm gonna add one more clap. I think it should be right before, right before the second one. So I'm just gonna copy and paste on. Now I'm just gonna add like a open hat. Alright, I'm gonna add this. To be honest, I'm not liking the sound of the 808, but we can always wave shape that later and add distortion and whatnot. So for this one, I'm gonna put it, might have to make it into a, what is it called? Into MIDI. Just cause I need the length. So convert to MIDI. That's not what I wanted to do. Alright, we're gonna take this and just drag it. So the next thing is, I liked one of the sounds for the beginning. Just make it super low so it's not like annoying to listen to and irritating. So we're just gonna drop this down, then copy and paste. I think it needs like another sound and then we're done with this drum. Made this. Alright, I think I'm gonna add it right when the second clap, the first clap comes in. I don't know, like I know there's clearly a word for it. I don't mean like the hard clap. I don't even know, on the strong beat. Is that what it's called? I have no idea. So we're gonna put this right here, I think. Right here, we're gonna put this right here. Is it even making noise? What the hell? Oh, did I move it down by accident? Oh, I guess I did. Oops. Let's see. I don't need the whole thing, so let's cut this away. Same thing here. Let's cut this off because I don't need that. I don't need that. Actually, let's see. Maybe like right here. That's all I need. Yeah, we could just slowly, and then we'll just throw a little fader. Maybe a little longer. All right, that sounds good enough to me, right? But I think I need another snare though. I think I need a layer. The snare is not, or the clap is not cutting through enough. I mean, I could always process it too, right? Yo, shut up. This pack has no snares. Alright. Alright, you know what? You know what? How about this? Instead, which one needs to be? So what I'm going to do here is I'm actually just going to, I don't know, let's try this clip distortion. Yeah, I don't like the sound. Alright, I think it's cutting through a bit more. Just put up the drive. I think that's good enough, to be honest. Let's hear this. Alright, that's my beat for today. Yeah, I do like to make templates more just because it makes it easier when I'm not in the mood. I might make another video, I might not. We'll see. Bye.